Hey, what's up? I wanted to do a quick video, kind of an overview video of a rifle I've been building for the last couple of months, and I think I finally about got it done. You've seen some pictures of it, and you actually saw it the other day. While I was finally got my optic in. I did some training on it, and I was putting it up higher and higher and higher and higher. I actually want to do just a video of me shooting about here with the optic sitting up. I think that'd just be funny. The new big trend is height over bore, especially when shooting under notch, which makes 100% sense. But this is, as you can see, the bolt is to the rear. Empty magazine well, is a clone of a 6920 car15. Back in the early 90s, Deltas was coming around and they were trying to improve upon, which was the XM107, or XM110. There's a couple different names of it. There's like the GUA5 that the Air Force were using. It was a 10.5 inch with a big moderator on the end. And they were finding out problems with reliability. The velocity was starting to really drop off. So they went to the 14.5, which this one is a 14.5, pin and welded with a Yankee Hill style Phantom flash hider. I probably will change that out if I do suppress it. That's my dog down there. That's DD. If I plan on suppressing it, I probably will swap it out to something like a JMac or something like that. That way I can attach a dead air, and I think that'd be really cool. But I kind of want to go over through it. This is an actual car style stock. This is actually a mil surplus one. You can see the numbers marked on there. The grip is from Individual Surplus on Instagram. Go check them out. They got a lot of really good prices when it comes to mil surplus parts. This is an A1 grip, so it doesn't have that big hump in there. Standard trigger guard. What's really nice about it is an actual LEO marked lower. This is a Bushmaster. Kind of see it there. It is actually a Bushmaster XM15 E2S. It actually came with a fixed stock on there, which was fine. It looked funky being a 14.5 with a fixed stock. The only things I've really done to it is actually, like I said, I've changed it out to an adjustable stock. It is multiple positions, so it's not period correct. They would actually have like 2 positions. And what they would do is they would drill a hole, get it pinned for the 3rd position, which would be set to them, which was a really nice feature. And then they came out with the 4th position, which actually put it a little bit too close and a little bit too far for a lot of people. This is I believe, a swamp optics or swamp box. Picatinny rail. I found it at a local gun store for a good price, so I grabbed it. The optic is a Patrol by Aimpoint. I believe in Aimpoint. I have had 5 or 6 Aimpoints over the years, and they've never failed me, so I'm going to stick with them. There's a lot of really good optics out there. Hollow Sun makes a really good optic. Primary Arms makes a really good optic. Rayton makes a really good optic. It's just something I've tested before and I've used a lot, and I 100% believe it. It actually did come with these handguards. These are the slim style. If you can kind of see, it's very, very slim. Unlike the later versions of the M4, which this is kind of this is what started the M4 style rifles. The M4s have the bigger handguards. That was actually to help with heat. This is a lot slimmer, gets a lot really, really close. What I might end up doing if I get a pressure switch light is get some goon tape, wrap it up so it actually looks a little bit more period correct, which they would do. The light is a Surefire G2, and it is actually incandescent, so it's all 60 lumens. The sling is actually something I built. I got into firearms 2007-ish, like heavy 2006-ish, and I didn't have a lot of money, so I saw some stuff about how to kind of make your own 2-point slings, and this is kind of what I came up with. It's not the best in the world, and actually James over at Hub City helped me out. He did some stitching for me to kind of clean it up a little bit. That way I would have a little bit better usage for this one. It's not as good as his sling. Like, his sling's, I think, by far the best sling, but if you actually go back and look at the time, they were using things like this. They would have just their parachuter guy or their seamstress, if they had somebody there that knew how to sew, that would take some webbing and sew it together and have like this, where it's paracorded on. I just went with HK style clips. That way I could actually take it off and on if need be. Other things I did to it, this is actually the original bolt carrier. What's cool about it, looks like a regular bolt carrier. Kind of see it's like a semi-auto bolt carrier, if you know about that. If you flip it, you can actually see the firing pin. This is like early 90s when they were really getting into the band stuff. So they were like chopping up bolt carriers because they thought for some reason that a full auto bolt carrier would make your firearm full auto, so they would chop it up. It was kind of stupid. Another thing I did to it, which I think was a great addition, like I said, I had the rifle length stock on it, and the spring in it was horrible. So it does come with a new spring and everything, but before I even considered putting this collapsible stock on there, I put a JP Enterprise rifle spring. The rifle spring is actually still in here and it actually still works, but kind of see it. See how the red springs? These are also JP Enterprise springs. The trigger in this is actually like the Colt, so it's got the larger pin, the slightly larger pins. So it's actually very hard. Well, not very hard. They're a little bit more expensive. So I found the JP Enterprise spring kit, which was less than $20. Now this is my Wheeler gauge. Goes up to 8 pounds. It was actually maxing that out. Let's check it again real quick. We are clear. It took it from 9.5 pounds. Now, like I said, this is a standard GI trigger. A little under 6 pounds. So that's a big increase for like 20 bucks. And it's pretty repeatable. We're still like slightly over 5.5 pounds. Still right at 5.5 pounds. So simple addition to something like this. I didn't want to really put any fancy triggers in there, so I just decided to put the JP Enterprise trigger in there, and it's worked out really good. The mount I'm using right here is from Monstrum Tactical. I've been looking around at different scope rings, and I found these, and they were right price. That's my other dog. And trying to find something that would actually go low enough for me. And these actually are like 0.8 inches high. So it sits really low, like even the front ring is actually, I'm gonna have to pull the cover off, which on these I pull the ring scope covers off any which way to clear it. Like it actually sits right on it, so it's pretty low. But this is, like I said, this has been a project of mine. If y'all have seen, you know, Black Hawk Down or any of those kind of movies, these were kind of what they were using during the times. And it kind of really shows, like, weight wise, this thing weighs nothing compared to any of my other rifles. My other rifles are pushing 9 pounds. This one's somewhere around the 7-pound mark, and you can really tell it's really, really nice. One really nice feature is actually, it is the 203 cut barrel. It is a 1 in 9 twist. Yeah, I'll be shooting mainly 55 grain through it. Chrome lined, MP tested, all that good stuff. I did change the bolt carrier out to a full auto bolt carrier group, just to, because that's what it originally would have. Like I said, a 6920 was a mil-spec rifle used by the military. Most of the time they just call them the car15s, which this is kind of a, like I said, it's not 100% correct. It's got the A2 style stock, so you can actually adjust a little bit more. They would have the Canadian style ring sight on the side, so you actually have to, kind of like the new Troy or Daniel Defense, where you have to actually put a button in it. It's got a little bitty button or detent in it, so you can actually turn it. But like I said, I kind of wanted to go review of this. This is a really nice time capsule, I guess. Most people are trying to be rails, and then all of a sudden, you know, it's kind of cool to see how, you know, lightweight, which this rifle is lightweight, where it started from. So if you go back even further to like the M16 era, Those rifles were stupid light, stupid soft recoiling. They had their issues, and they worked them out, especially during the Vietnam War. And then moving forward, they went with like the XM. The Troy makes them. I cannot think the XM 107 serial number. I think it is. It's the 10.5 inch with the flash can on the end to actually make it sound a little bit differently. Those are actually the actual legit ones are actually classified as suppressors now, which sucks because that would be a really cool build. You can actually get some that actually look like flash hiders. The moderators, they're just flash hiders. Pin them to a 10.5 and actually build one. But it's kind of cool to see going back to, there's my other dog, going back to something like this in the early 90s. You know, I think this was leaps and bounds because they were starting to use the aim points. They were using 2000 and 3000 optics, which at the time was the best optic out there when it came to a red dot. That's why I still use aim point, because I still think by far what you pay out of an aim point, you'll never break it. If you do, they'll replace it, and I think the customer care they put into it is phenomenal. But I've had, like I said, I've had a few of them. I've had really good experiences with them. I've had really good experiences with other optics, but I leave these on. Like this one's, I turn it up a little bit, but yeah, this one's still on since I bought it. I got a Comp M4 that's been on for, the longest it was on for was almost 5 years before I pulled the battery. Now I actually put everything on a cycle. So every year or so, about a year and a half, I'll actually change the batteries out. I check them periodically just to make sure they're still on, because I leave my optics on. I'm just that kind of guy. I'd rather pick it up, everything's ready to work, and that's what these guns are, work guns. But like I said, going back to early 90s and how these things were set up and how light they were, and they had everything you needed. And now you're starting to look at, in the past 15 years, it was everything got very, very heavy. You had your broom handles, you had your rails, you had your Pick 15s, you had your big Surefires, and then all of a sudden it turned back. Let's see if we can lighten these things up. So they're going back to something similar to this. I mean, now they're using the URG rails. They're going away from the Mark 18 style 10.5 inch to more of a like 12.5 inch to get that velocity back up and get the dwell time back up, because that's what a lot of people don't realize with a 14.5 5.56 gun. The dwell time is actually perfect. Mine was actually a little overgassed, but like I didn't realize it until I put the collapsible stock on it. It's still super soft shooting. Going from the rifle stock to this, it was a noticeable difference. Like I could definitely tell a difference, but it's meant to be a little bit overgassed. You got to think about it like AKs. AKs are overgassed from the factory so that they can push that bolt back, get any gunk out of the way. Same thing with these guys. The difference is they really, like, you have a little bit more adjustability when it comes to, like, you know, putting different springs in the back, a buffer in the back. You can actually get like bolts where you can actually adjust the gas from here, adjustable gas blocks, which there are a lot for the AK nowadays. Like the ALG spring, I think is the best improvement you can actually do to any firearm. Well, y'all have a great day. I was just wanted to kind of share this with y'all and show it off. I think it's a gorgeous rifle, and I hope to be doing more videos with it. Y'all take care.